The other big area, of course, was factor investing, what we call broadly investing by value or quality or momentum or size. A lot of these are iShares ETFs that are out there, the bigger ones. We pay attention to these that are rebalancing, that are big out there. Momentum, MTUM, which Armando runs, is going to be rebalances twice a year. And of course, last year it was big tech names. Now it may be a little bit different. You were talking, and I were talking about this last week. What kind of changes might we see in something like some of these momentum ETFs, particularly MTUM?
Right. So momentum, the momentum ETF from iShares MTUM is the one of those 5 factor products that are U.S. focused that does not have any sector bans or any sector constraints. So it can go where the factor is strongest. Currently, the factor is strongest the way the portfolio is positioned, with technology and consumer discretionary and healthcare being heavily weighted. The last 6 months have been really strong for financials, which is little to no exposure within MTUM, and energy, where there is no exposure. So the research that we at CFRA did, we believe that we're going to see an increased exposure in financials, and we're going to see a reinitiation of energy companies. And some of the growth stocks, Amazon, for example, is potentially going to be falling out of this index. And then we're also just watching what's happening within the value ETF, VLUE, which has sector neutrality. So it's looking for the value-oriented stocks within each sector. And we saw, for example, in technology, some of the more deeper value stocks have risen, and we've seen a rotation. Some of the higher growth stocks have fallen. So we could actually see VLUE owning more of the traditional growth stocks within the technology sector, among other sectors.
Yeah, and MTUM rebalances twice a year, Todd, right? So when's the rebalancing supposed to occur now? The end of May?
So the rebalance for all 5 of the factor ETFs for iShares takes place at the end of May. The reason we're talking about this one, we wrote about it at CFRA, is that the Momentum ETF, it focuses on the 6-month period ended April. It throws out that last month in the momentum part of it. So the data is now, in theory, available to try to figure out where the relative strength was. But of course, there's an algorithm that constructs this.
All right. And Armando, of course, just last question very quickly because we got to go. But you ever give thought, instead of doing this every 6 months, every 3 months, rebalancing this, given that momentum moves very quickly now?
No, I mean, momentum, by the way, I mean, Todd knows that. I mean, there's high turnover in that portfolio, so investors are aware of that. I think that what is really interesting, Bob, is in factors, which lately they don't get a lot of attention. We're seeing some of the strongest flows on the back of the reopening trade into our value portfolio and other single factor offerings that we have. So, I mean, factors is something that investors are really utilizing in 2021. We didn't see a lot of flow in 2020. That is also changing in 2021.